Welcome back. We have another Business of Blacksmithing video for you. Today, our topic is
success and its cost. So, most people look, I guess I was just having this come to mind to me to take and talk about this here recently. I was talking to a UPS guy of mine that takes and picks up a lot of our ironwork and packages, and a real nice gentleman and stuff, and we were talking about just, money and success and things like that, and I was amazed to find that me and him had totally two different viewpoints on success and what it looks like. And I guess it's really not that amazing. People have a lot of different viewpoints on what they believe is success. So, so before I go any further, drop us a comment in the comment section of, what your ideal of success is.
Yeah, your definition.
Yeah, your definition. And I would personally like to encourage you to leave more meaningful than, my ideal of success is just a healthy wife and kid, kind of thing.
Or making lots of money.
Or making lots of money, give us some actual feedback of what your ideal success is. What that picture in your mind would look like, because everybody kind of has that picture in their mind, what makes a person successful. And so where our opinions differed, and this is where kind of maybe a controversial thing got started. So everybody that I have known, and there's a lot of stuff that goes around, and there's a lot of bad sentiment against wealthy people. And I find that to be a bit of an oxymoron, considering the fact that everyone desires to be wealthy at some point. So, and if you say you don't, I kind of laugh at that, because everybody wants to not have financial issues. So, for you, that would be a level of wealthy. Somebody who lives in the Middle East or in a third world country somewhere, wealth would be making more than $400 a year. So if you're already doing that, you are wealthy and blessed beyond measure. If you're not living in a little dirt straw hut somewhere in the Amazon rainforest, wow, if you can buy a toothbrush, you may just be wealthy there. So wealth is a matter of perspective. And if you put a matter of perspective on wealth, and think about that for a second, okay? And these are my thoughts and my wanderings. This is my opinion. When you look at wealthy people, what did they have to sacrifice to get where they're at? The common man's response is, well, they were given it, or their parents got it for them. Well,
even if that was true, though, that doesn't mean they would retain the wealth if they don't have the wisdom to handle it correctly.
Exactly. And so, think about this. Well, for their parents to obtain that wealth, would their parents have to sacrifice? Their parents probably had to take and sacrifice time with them. So when your dad went to all your football games, their dad spent time at the office. That's something to think about. So that means they didn't have the same upbringing as you did. They may have had a house in Malibu somewhere, but they had a dad that couldn't show affection because he was always at work. He had to be at work when he was at home. Jessica and I struggle with this to keep work life and business out of the home, since we do run our own business a lot,
at
don't
home.
we?
Yeah
At
home.
Because when somebody emails you and they're wanting to give you money, the green stuff, the stuff that we all hope to have in our bank accounts to make us feel secure financially, it's very hard to say, hey, it's midnight, or hey, it's 7 p.m. and I'm coloring with my daughter, before she goes to bed. It's very hard to take and say no to that person. Or it's very hard if it's a fire that you have to stomp out in your business because you got an angry customer. It's very hard to have an enjoyable time. You may be out at your daughter's birthday, or or son's basketball game or something like that, cheering them on, and here comes on some guy that has no clue about your life that wants to just ruin your day. and it's very hard to not let that type stuff get to you.
And honestly, I mean, the customers don't know what you're going through either. So,
nope,
they're not people. That you can blame it on them. You just have to make for yourself goals and, times where you set aside your work.
Yep, exactly. And that's a difficult balance out there. But I want to talk about the subject of that success and the cost of that, because some people are perfectly contented in staying at one level in life. So whether that be they make $35,000 a year, or they make $5,000 dollars a year, or maybe $5 million a year, they have a certain level in their mind where they'd be comfortable. Maybe the house is paid for, maybe they have a nice vehicle, maybe they got a little money in the bank so they can go do some fun things on the weekend with the wife and kids and stuff, or with the husband and kids, or no husband, or whatever your situation is. You can apply this to yourself. Maybe that's your viewpoint of what success is. Well, then you see other people who have their own level of success, and you get envious of that. And you say, well, why should he have $4 million? I ask you the question, what did that guy sacrifice for $4 million? And are you willing to put the steps into action to take and make that same sacrifice?
That's right.
If it does, God doesn't call for you to stick your big old snaz there into other people's business. He doesn't. He doesn't call for you to manage someone else's money and say what's right, or say what talents they should have. And when we read over in the Bible, I don't talk about the Bible too much in my videos, because I understand there's a lot of other people out there who are not Christians and believers like I am. But I definitely don't have no fear to take and show good godly wisdom on this subject. And it's just like the parable of the talents, the sowers. You can see, in that verse of scripture, master gives one guy one talent. What'd he do? He hid it under a rock. Another person, he gives, 5 talents. And then another guy, he gives 10 talents. But you say, well, that's unfair. Well, no, it's not really, because what happens when he comes back? The guy that did nothing with his one talent, he was counted as an evil servant.
Yeah.
And was to be thrown to the outside where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The guy that had 5 talents, he doubled his money, and what happened? The master made him ruler over more. And I read that as made him responsible over more.
Yeah.
Because he knew he could trust him. And then the guy with 10 talents, what'd he do? He doubled the money back, or he doubled the talents. It doesn't tell us what the talents were. It could have been a talent of whatever. It was a measure.
Money
could have been a sum of money. Who knows? We assume it's a sum of money because of the first talent, when they were talking about the first guy, that he could have turned it over to the
bank,
to the bank or the money changers. And so anyways, little biblical lesson there for you, but it's the same thing. So work to your talents and where you're at. At one point when we first started this whole deal, we made $12,000 a year, and that was not bring home. That was not bring home. I mean,
overall.
That was overall, and that, in fact, we thought we had to go to a certified public accountant, a CPA or whatever, and have our taxes kind of handled. And we ended up paying that guy like $350 for an hour talk.
Yeah.
About how we didn't really need his services until we made like well over $250,000. That it was like our income was a joke, pretty much. So, so at that point in time, when we were only making $12,000 a year, somebody making $35,000 a year, man, it just looked like, wow, that would be heaven, And then when we made $35,000 a year, of course, we look at stuff like, oh, well, people making $75,000, well, maybe that's where we want to be, or this or that, or what have you. And so, that's the ideal of perspective on success, but there's a cost that comes with it.
Yeah, definitely. There's an equal amount of responsibility that goes with the amount of money you make. You're expected to do more in a job that's very well paying than something perhaps that's less well paying.
Yeah, like currently, I have got paid to do this fireplace frame. This is how we're shooting these videos because we got 4.5 hours to talk here on something. We might as well do something productive with our time. Well, instead of us standing looking at each other lovingly for the next 4.5 hours, we decided that we are going to invest into the YouTube community, which also invests into the YouTube business side of things, which helps helps us do videos and everything else like that. It means we have to get out videos to you all in order for you to watch them and enjoy. So, but there's a cost to that. So I have a very big job. I have to deliver it because it's a big job. I have to install it. So there's all these logistics in it. The rental vehicle was $147. So, you think, oh, wow. Well, yeah, and the job was very costly for the customer as well. And it's taking a full day of my time and my wife's time to run clear up to Flushing, Michigan. There's the logistics of our kids. We had to have my parents watch them, and we're paying them some for that. So this way they, to take care of our kids while we're gone and our little one-day journey here. There's fuel costs. There's all sorts of costs that go into that. And so you can think to yourself, oh, wow, wouldn't it be great to sell a $2,500 or a $5,000 job? And when you're making a $50 knife or you're making a $20 hook or something like that, you say, oh, wouldn't it be great? Yes, it is, but it comes with responsibility.
Oh, yeah. You
Big responsibility.
Got to make sure it's got the perfect presentation, got to have it, it's got to fit perfectly. Everything about it has to be up to par.
Yep, everything's got to be top notch. Your presentation has to be top notch. You don't know whether this person is a millionaire. Are they in a millionaire or are they in a big mansion? Or what? Is there other potential work there that you can get? That all adds up. If you make a bad first impression, is it gonna make or break the deal for you in the future for future work or something like that? So the level of expectation raises as you get paid more. So if you're only getting paid minimum wage, no one expects you to do much more than what minimum wage requires. That's it. That's frankly just that's just life. That's just truth. If somebody wants to give you $20 to do something, they're really only expecting $40 of labor out of you.
Yeah.
They're expecting double out of you than what they gave you, and to do the work. And that's just life too. But you have to take, and you're at one level of responsibility. But now if somebody gave you 20 grand to do something, guess what? They're still expecting 40 grand worth of work out of you. They're expecting that presentation. They're expecting everything to be top notch. So you have to take and decide for yourself, what level of success are you willing to sacrifice for? And that's where I'm going to end this video because it's gotten long enough. But, what level of success are you willing to sacrifice for? And I'll leave you with one last thought. Do not look at other people's successes and compare them to your life and get envious of them or even downright hateful of their finances. Because unless you have walked 1 hour in their shoes or you spent one midnight oil with them and finding out what type of person they are and what they're giving up to be so successful, don't hate them.
Right. And
don't hate them. It brings your own life down.
This is something I try to teach to our kids, is that when you see somebody else receiving or they have something that you want, just be happy for them. You can be happy for somebody else even if you don't have it. So when you see the successful people or people doing well around you, learn from them. Like Roy touched on, that's an opportunity to see how did they get where they're at. So that's just a good point to ponder on.
Yep. So that's where we'll leave the video officially. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it. Get prepared to see a lot more of these because we got 4.5 hours travel here. So anyway, so we hope we blessed your life a little bit today. Let us know what you think in the comment section. God bless you all.